Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk with you. What you've been able to accomplish in beauty, which I was in the beauty industry myself for a little while, a very little while, and I learned first and foremost how much I did not know about beauty, beauty influencers, and the power of influencers in beauty and all that. But for everybody here that may not know, Ron has been in the beauty space for a while. First in major brands like Revlon and Avon, and then launching your own beauty influencer network. I really want to talk about this in a second. And then from this network, I'm imagining, and this is how I think about growing business, is you were probably looking at the channel going, well, I've got all the influencers. Why don't I make a product? After all, you're a product guy, right? So tell me about the journey from inside major brands to, especially to launching the influencer agency itself, and then how that spawned BeautyStat as it is today.
Well, how it started, Derek, is that I started to see what was going on with the social media landscape in the mid 2000s, and this is the case where Facebook, Twitter were launching. Everyone was migrating towards being on social media and conversing, joining up and chatting with other people, like-minded folks. So I saw what was going on there, and I saw an opportunity where there was no beauty voice there. There was no Facebook for beauty, if you will. And that's the mission of BeautyStat when it first launched. So it became a community where me as an expert would really moderate and help coach and teach and review products for consumers and help them really understand beauty products and help them cut through the clutter. So that was the initial reason for launching BeautyStat.
I love it. And from there, you started to accrue a lot of attention, a lot of influencers, and you're a chemist by nature, right? You've studied cosmetics and cosmetic chemistry, and so then you started looking into vitamin C. How did you get started here? What was the idea, the inspiration for this?
So this is what happened when I left the big brands. So I worked at Clinique, Estee Lauder, Revlon, Avon, L'Oreal. So 15 years working for different brands, developing products for them. I launched BeautyStat, which was the Facebook for beauty, and it evolved into this social media agency. The minute I left corporate, a lot of brands were reaching out, a lot of beauty editors were reaching out to me saying, hey, Ron, you're not working for a big brand. We need help with a story. We're working on a story on understanding vitamin C, this ingredient, that ingredient. So I became the go-to cosmetic chemist in the media. So the question about vitamin C came up over and over again over the years. So that got me thinking, what if we were to develop something really a revolution in vitamin C, which is a great ingredient for the skin. And then that was the idea for me pivoting from a agency, BeautyStat the agency, to a beauty skincare brand selling directly to consumer.
I love it. So for everyone listening, I think what the key here is first, you worked extremely hard for a long period of time, have the credentials and the industry expertise and network to back up where you were at the time, and then you listen to the audience, the customers, and the media at large on what they were asking, what questions they were asking, and then because of your expertise, you were then able to develop a wildly successful product. Tell me about the first few months of launching the cosmetics brand, BeautyStat.
Yes, so and basically you basically summed up why there's something here is because of all those things you listed. Expertise, listening to the consumer and the media, as well as being in there myself and knowing the channels and having the network in place. So basically you just captured why it seems to be working. To answer your question, what was the first few months like? It was a challenge at first. Obviously you have a great product, you have a great site, and you're driving traffic. And of course, the ads may not be right, the creative's not right, the message is not right. Okay, in fact, I used influencers that I've worked with to be the initial brand ambassadors for the brand. And we tested different ones, different audiences, and it was tough. It was tough finding the right message. Again, beauty is crowded. There are thousands and thousands of products in the marketplace, and the consumer is overwhelmed and inundated with them. So how do you cut through? How do you do that? So it took some time. So you have a question?
Time is it is also money here. Did you feel like you were bleeding money? Was there any moment where you were just like, because I mean, it sounds like the product had a really strong fit, but that doesn't always mean you're profitable, right? So was there any moment where you're like, oh crap, like this is actually costing us more, like it's going to take a long time to make this investment back, or I don't know if I can make my investment back on this?
Yeah, it was 3 months in, and we had that team sit down with, okay, we thought this was going to go faster. And by the way, 3 months is nothing. Let's be honest. I think, I think we look at it thinking, oh my God, this is a disaster. Let's pack it in. It's nothing. Each day, each week, we were learning something. We learned, okay, this didn't work. Let's try something new. That didn't work. Let's try something new. So we were learning each step. So there was learning during that 3-month time. So what happened? We started to learn and things got a little better. So some ads started to take off. We were honing in on the right message. And then the other point that I do want to tell you more about is, keep in mind, I was more behind the scenes for the brand when we first launched. I was not a face or spokesperson. What happened is when we started to test with me being in the creative and telling my story, that is when we really saw some uptick going on.
So out of all these influencers, it turns out you were the influencer.
I was the influencer all the time. So this was not my intention. I'm much more comfortable behind the computer at home and working on stats. I'm a chemist by background, so research is my thing. So I'm very comfortable. But when I had to step out and be more front facing, that is when the brand really started to take off.
Awesome. And I think it's because of your in-industry expertise. And so every brand like listening to this might be a little bit different, but certainly I think success follows hard work. And a lot of people forget that because there is a whole world to get rich quick out there. And yes. I'm sure that it does not feel like get rich quick to you, because I mean, I could just see the years of hard work that built up to this very successful launch in new cosmetics line. So,
and I'm an old guy too, so I'm no spring chicken.
So you were testing things. Let's dive into the testing a little bit more. You're talking about new ad, new creative, and you're talking about spending money on ads, but you have this massive influencer network. So maybe actually just tell me a little bit more about go-to-market in this case. There's a little bit of PR, a lot of influencer, and why spend money on ads if you don't feel like you have a working business model? Or was it just because you had enough product or enough budget to go for it? Yeah, tell me.
Oh, that was part of the strategy. And by the way, the testing is key. Again, I'm a scientist, and so testing and research, it's in my DNA. So even prior to launch, I already had a database of consumers. So I tested the brand and product concept with consumers before even going to market. So I knew there was high purchase interest. It was relevant. There was interest in this, and it captured a good section of the population. So I had a lot of data about the concept before even product was made, before going to market. So I had that going in favor of us. I mentioned the vitamin C technology that we have. We had patents as well. So we had IP attached to it as well. So again, another check mark in terms of, okay, what things do you need that's going to help have you ready, poised for success? So we had that piece. And last piece, the other part of testing was having independent clinical testing on our skincare products as well, which are not a lot of big or small brands do. So that was something that, I bootstrapped this business. So that's one thing that we wanted to make sure we had in order to be credible. I'm a chemist. If I'm going to launch a brand, I've got to check all those boxes: IP, consumer testing, independent clinical testing. So we had that prior to launch. Now, to answer your question about what type of testing do you do post-launch? Okay, certainly ad testing, of course. What type of creative? What type of message? What type of influencer? Old influencer, young influencer, medium age influencer, what color, what race. So all of those things played into the testing mix, if you will.
That's really interesting, actually. Was there any learnings there? So if you're testing older influencers, you're probably testing older demographics as well, that your audience. Was there anything where you were like, oh, I thought we would be catering to maybe the 50 plus or something like that, but we actually found like this other market segment really identified with it? Because I know, building the product and testing individually with consumers, I'm sure some of them were like raising their hand more than others. But when you hit the mass market, you might have found something a little bit different. What was the take on it?
Yeah, great question. So fortunately, our product really addresses consumers of almost any age, really from 25 to 55 plus could benefit from our skincare products. What was a surprise to us is that when we started advertising online, think about the audience on Facebook, tends to be a little bit older. So we saw a bigger audience with 35 plus from advertising on Facebook. So that was a little surprise because in our concept testing, all ages wanted it and all ages loved it. So that was a learning. And so we looked at influencers that were older and testing them to see if that would resonate more with our older audience target.
So you went. So this is actually what's interesting is you're talking kind of like you had a general customer profile and then you had a channel customer profile because I mean Facebook is such a massive channel that you can literally adjust almost your entire business model, even the whole site, if this channel is working for you towards a slightly different demographic than as we're about to maybe dive into, or maybe I'll even skip ahead. Now moving into major retail and other places, you're probably thinking about how that profile is going to change, how the site is going to need to change to hit a larger market. But let's go ahead and jump ahead and just tell you're looking into the future. You have secured some really major retail partnerships. Are you allowed to discuss it?
I can. We just went public yesterday with some of our new partnerships. So just to take you through the timeline, launched late spring last year, slow few months, really start to hit a little bigger starting in June, July, where we had our first retail partnership with an online retailer called Violet Grey. A lot of beauty insiders know Violet Grey, very popular website. So we had a start to build a cult following with that retailer. Then we launched on skinstore.com in the fall. Then we launched with QVC. So we have a best-selling product on QVC. And by the way, just so you guys know what the product looks like, it's this Beauty Stat Universal C Skin Refiner. It's a vitamin C serum, and that's our star product. So we have a bestseller on QVC with this product, and we launched early this year on QVC. So coming in now, we're into summer, going into fall, and we've a lot of big retailers have signed us on. So we are launching into Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, and we just got our purchase order from Saks. So 3 major prestige retailers will be launching, and the team here is like, we're so excited, and it's overwhelming as well, because here we are. We didn't expect that retail would become such an important part of our business, not just from a cash perspective, but from a prestige and credibility perspective, which is really important for us as well.
Absolutely. You just mentioned the most prestigious brands in the game, right? We're not at Target and Walmart. We're talking, the upmarket retailers. So, and I'm sure that's purposeful in aligning the brand. Walk me through. So it sounds like it's a stepping stone of conversations, which I think is very key for businesses that are trying to break into retail. You have certain levels of proof of concept you need to do first. Ironically, this reminds me of a conversation I had with a tech CEO, Roman Lepere, the other day. He runs an e-commerce technology company. And when he was raising money, he said, you start small. You can't just go to the venture guys and say, give me $1 million. You secure 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, you work your way up. And in the same, I'm sure the purchase orders, if I was looking at your purchase orders, they just keep doubling and doubling. And you go, all right, now I can go a little bit bigger. Now I can go a little bit bigger.
They are.
How are you securing your supply chain through all this?
And that's the pain point for us right now. So if you're asking me what's keeping me up at night, it's managing supply chain. Yeah. And the orders now, it's like, and also with direct to consumer, you want to make sure you stay in stock, but you don't know how much to order. So it's trying to guesstimate until we get a feel for this market. There's seasonality. We're so new. We don't have a lot of data. So it's a guess. it's really a guess, and it's a gut. And we talk to people, and we find out, okay, what's the potential of this channel? And it comes down to just making a guess. And we try to guess so that we try not to be out of stock, and we try to do it so it's just enough, keep us in stock, and that we can manage the lead time. If we run out, we can get back in on a time.
Mind sharing what your lead time is for you?
Our components come from overseas, so it can be 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, that's not too bad in beauty. I know in beauty sometimes it's 9 months, 12 months, 18 months to get certain products all the way from development into the market. But here a little bit.
And we're made in the U.S. Our products are made in the U.S. Some of our packaging and components come from overseas. So that's the challenge of getting those here, and again, the cost involved. So that's what's keeping me up at night.
Yeah, I feel you on that. When you're, are you using any tools to predict inventory right now? Just out of curiosity.
We're looking at some right now to help us. By the way, just so you know, a DFO is our agency partner. So yeah. DFO and Amasa. So they are fantastic partners and working with us and helping us to manage our inventory flow. Yeah,
they have the best experience in that, especially for predicting seasonality in uncertain times, I would say. So, so you've got the right partner. The fun the fun thing about predicting demand is when you get to use those channels that you've established as levers. You know, it's like, okay, it looks like through the end of the month we need to sell this many units. Are we on track? Oh, we're a little under. Okay, let's hire a few more influencers. Let's turn the ad spend up. Oh, we're a little over. Let's just crank it down, you know, and try and hit it just right. The funny thing is though, like if you first you have to predict that number, order for that number, and then match the channel strategy to your inventory, which is that's a juggling act. So I do not envy that.
Yeah, it's very tough. And the one thing I do want to say about advertising for direct to consumer, we see a trickle down effect. So when we are advertising and driving traffic to our own site, our own funnel pages, if you will, those that don't buy there, they buy at our other retail locations. They buy from Amazon if they're an Amazon customer. They buy from Violet Grey, or they buy from QVC. And we just launched in Blue Mercury stores as well. That's another a beauty chain of prestige retail in the United States as well. So we just launched there. So consumers might be buying there as well. So it helps on every front by making sure you run ads because it's bringing awareness. And yes, some consumers, they'll want to purchase from you. Others feel comfortable in the stores that they typically like to go to.
That's really interesting. So you're feeling that effect. So if you're advertising on a channel like Facebook or something, you crank that dial up, and then you see the sales pour in, not just from that one channel, but the other partner channels. I wonder and I didn't prep you on this question. What are you doing to own that customer relationship? A lot of sessions we've had in the last couple of days have been about deepening the relationship with the customer, and I know that retail and Amazon and other channels, you start to lose touch with them. You know, they're buying from Amazon, they're not buying from you. They maybe don't even know the brand that well, or they don't know who Ron is. They haven't seen the face of the brand yet. What do you do to strengthen that, especially from your outside channels, bringing them into the direct to consumer?
Well, we want to win at all channels. Obviously, it's more profitable if they come directly to us, and we own that data. But we want to win at those other channels as well, because again, it's a halo effect. If we're sold at Nordstrom, then people's perception of us, oh, this is a really prestigious brand, and they may decide to buy with us later. The other thing we could do is inside of the packaging that the consumer gets, we'll have inserts where they can be incentivized to come back to us the next time. So that's another thing that you can do to help win back or bring back that consumer to you as opposed to the retail partner.
I agree completely on that. And because we darted around a little bit, I want to get back to something that we hinted at the beginning. But as you launched this brand, you got a lot of really big press. And because you were kind of already the expert in the space, maybe it came a little easy to you. But talk to me about the act of getting and securing press? Did you have to call people up, or were they lined up at the door for you? Like, how do you get the intros into some of these major press outlets like Cosmo, People, Vogue, Oprah? Like, everyone, you know, listening is going, I'd love to be in Oprah magazine. You know, I'd love to be featured. What can they do today to maybe get them a little bit closer?
The press continues. Derek, literally, it's every day. Every day we are published. Some major beauty magazine or consumer magazine or news magazine is talking about us. So how it started, it wasn't easy to start. And even though I was an expert and I did have some relationship with some of these, it wasn't easy because a lot of people are starting a skincare brand or a beauty brand. We're a dime a dozen. There's so many out there.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm an expert. Yes, I had some connections. It still wasn't easy. So what I did is that I had to leverage my early wins, meaning the early places that we did where we get some PR. I used that as leverage. I said, hey guys, so we were just covered here. Consumers are really interested in this. I think your readers are going to need to know about this as well. That's my tip. Leverage any type of win, any type of news that you have. You've got to use that to help build to get the next one. And my goal was to continue to use that to a point where we would be covered in so many different places that if you were not covering, then you were missing out. You were missing out on traffic. Because you think about what drives an editor. What are they measured on? They're measured on readership. If I'm going to publish something, the more eyeballs on that post, that piece, that's a better post. So keep in mind, we're driving traffic at the same time. So you drive traffic, meaning that people are finding out about your brand, and then they go and Google search you. And when they search, they find articles published by Oprah, Allure, Cosmo, Vogue, all those brands, and then they click on them, and those pieces get more traffic. So now they're thinking, hey, whenever I talk about Beauty Stat, we get more traffic.
Yeah.
So now they continue to publish about us because we are driving traffic to them, to their online posts. So that's the trick. That's a trick to get to the point where people are talking about you so much and searching for you so much that you're going to be missing out on crucial eyeballs if you don't cover this brand. So I needed to reach that point. And I think we're there.
I love it. And so there's a little bit of that like black hole or sinkhole effect where everyone's gravitating towards you because of your success, but you also were just able to frame it in a way where early successes beget later successes, and then everyone has to talk about you if they want to succeed. I think that's really interesting. And going up to an editor and saying, hey, if you want a few thousand hits, talk about us. Here's the proof. Like, that's why they're talking about us. And then also saying things like, we're pouring in tons of traffic and influencers into the same topic, so you're going to get our runoff. And so, I think that's
I don't phrase it exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
but it's implied. It's implied, and also we have a great product. Again, we have great clinical studies. This product works. We have the testimonials. So we have all that. It's about how do we let the editor know that we have all of that too, and other beauty magazines are covering us, and you should as well.
Interesting. So do you think that your clinical research is like kind of, I'm sure clinical research, a study is actually kind of boring to read, but a repurposed clinical research study with a key findings, was that like a core asset that once they saw that, they said, we'll write about you?
That was the initial piece, because really that's all I had. I had patents, I had independent clinical testing, and I had my background and expertise. That's the only 3 selling tools I had to start. So the first type of coverage I got was only based on that and my ability to sell why they needed to be talking about it. And of course we sent out samples, and that's what got everyone started in covering us. It's
amazing. The journey is well underway, and I look forward to seeing the success of the brand. Ron, I think we've got a surprise for people here, because I heard we were giving away some product what are we giving away?
I don't know. Tell me, what are we giving away? Anything you guys want?
Oh gosh, anything. No, I mean, honestly, for me, the expertise is what I thrive on. Let's see, we have it written down, some odd amount of
I
product.
think we're giving away some of our star product, our Beauty Stat Universal C skin refiners, our vitamin C serum.
I think so. So if you want this product, you can send an email to marie@ecommercetech.io with your address information. We have to stick to the USA only to keep their costs down on shipping and handling, because this is obviously a huge gift to you, and we'll organize and let people know if they did make it in to receive the free product. Just send an email there. I just dropped it in chat. Ron, what can we do for you? Your story is amazing, and I'd love to help support you. You've got a great agency partner with DFO, but what can we as an audience help you with?
Spread the word. You know, go online to say that you saw this program. Tag us #BeautyStat or tag us @BeautyStat on any social platform. Give us a shout out. We'll share.
Yeah, 100%. We'd love to, and that is now a requisite. If you get a free product, you must share about it on social media. That is what you are signing up for. Yeah. Ron, thanks so much. It was really great to talk with you. I feel like I could take a few more hours of your expertise and really like continue to provide a lot of great value to everybody listening today. But we have to stop right now. So thanks again. And
thanks again.
Look forward to having you around in the future.
Thanks so much. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.